What's up, everybody? This is a quarantine special check-in. Just want to see how everybody's doing. Thought I would peek in, take everybody's temperature, emotionally anyway. See how you guys are doing. See if I can be useful in any way. If anybody has questions. So I am, just want to be here. Want to be useful to you guys. So if anybody has any questions, if anybody's just bored out of their fucking mind, if you guys are on lockdown, I know a lot of people here are literally locked down and can't go anywhere. We've got our whole team working from home, listening to, what's up, Jim Quick? Listening to Mayor Garcetti here in Los Angeles yesterday was a fucking trip. If anybody is familiar with the subreddit, A Boring Utopia, or A Boring Dystopia, sorry, that is exactly what it felt like listening to that report. But yeah, to the person who asked if we're on lockdown, I mean, we don't have to stay in our houses, but you're basically recommended not to go out if you don't have to. You can't eat in a restaurant, which I thought was very surreal. Gyms are closed. There were, I don't know, category 3 or 4 different categories that people couldn't go and engage with. So it was just so weird. Man, it is what it is. So we have our entire staff working from home. Lisa and I have been working from home. So yeah, man, it's a trip. So for sure, I hope everybody is taking this very seriously. I hope very much that nobody is panicking. So yeah, we're trying to get a specialist on the show probably tomorrow. If we can pull it off in time, we'll hold off on releasing our normal episode and we'll do a special episode with an epidemiologist tomorrow. So we'll see if we can pull it off. If not that, we've also reached out to somebody who specializes in dealing with anxiety over things like this. So that could be a really interesting episode as well. So yeah, just thought I would jump on and see what everybody is up to. Have a question here from Athlete to Optimize. Coaching biz, retreats and mastermind strategies to keep things moving during this time. Great news is, man, if you're in information products, being online is definitely the way to go. So just shift your mentality to getting people in the same room, to delivering the same kind of value, but online. And now the sky is the limit because you can connect with other people that are in a similar situation that might have had canceled masterminds that might not otherwise have done something with you. Now you can get them onto a split screen, do something pretty cool. So Tony Robbins has the perfect question for this kind of moment, which is, how is the worst thing that ever happened to you actually the best thing? It's pretty powerful to psychologically reframe. So take a look at that and see what you can do. We were doing Impact Theory University today, and that kept coming up. Like, how do you just reframe what is going on? It is incredibly powerful to do that. Julie just said, I was going to ask about anxiety. Yeah, so anxiety, as I know you guys well know, is where you're worrying about the future. And I can't think of a time where people are probably more freaked out about the future than right now, with so many companies that rely on people walking indoors to have to shut those doors. It creates a lot of uncertainty. There are a few things that generate more anxiety over the future than uncertainty. So it really comes down to you guys being able to start with the facts. And I think that is the most important place to start. And when you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm telling you right now, man, you've got to break things into small pieces. It is all about taking things step by step. What creates the overwhelm is feeling like you have to solve the entire problem right now all at once. And that is not the position that you want to be in. You want to be thinking about, what do I need to do right now today? What is true right now today? And if you start from that place, then you'll be doing a lot better. I highly encourage you, if you haven't already read the book, Feeling Good by David D. Burns. It's about recognizing the distortions in your thinking. So people get into catastrophic thinking, they get into all or nothing thinking, and those are the things that are going to drive you crazy in this time. So keep things very simple, keep things fact-based, and break things down in small chunks. That is ultimately the way that you're going to get through this. Some people won't be prepared. There's no question about that. One thing that I think is really rad is, people coming together and helping each other out. one of the reasons that in fact, the only reason I came on right now is just to see how you guys are doing, to see if there's anything that I can be useful with. I think that the more people do that, the better off things will be. I encourage, if I have any business owners in the feed, if there's any way for you to let your people work from home. I am like the most aggressively anti-work from home person there is. And we shut the office down over a week ago. So yeah, man, if you can do it, that would be rad. Share knowledge and share the toilet paper. Yeah, it's crazy how toilet paper became the thing. What's up, Sydney, Australia? I have so much anxiety today because I feel sick. Okay, so and that was Sasha. Thank you for sharing that. So being sick is a phenomenal example to walk through about anxiety is only going to make it worse. So getting fact-based here is really going to help you. So first of all, even on the upper end, I don't think anybody is saying that the virus has a fatality rate of more than 1.5%. I think everybody's sort of settling around somewhere between 0.6 and 1%. So anything that has a 99% success rate, it's like you are all but guaranteed. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't take it seriously, because of course there are classes of people that have a far higher likelihood of this becoming a problem. I was super worried about my mom. She ended up having pneumonia right now, of all times, like the worst possible time to get pneumonia ever and to be in the hospital. So of course my heart skipped a fucking beat when I heard that she had to be taken to the hospital. And by the way, she's just outside of Seattle, so one of the epicenters of this whole thing. And in all of that, I just, you click into, or I highly encourage you to click into problem solving mode. So problem solving mode is action oriented. It's about breaking things down to their simplest constituent parts. It's about never getting overwhelmed by the whole. It's just, how do we take this one step at a time? So step number one, mom, well, actually it was the person who's looking after her. So Mikey, I need you to make sure that the doctors coming in are sanitizing. You have to be ultra hardcore about that. And then it was, what are the protocols in the hospital? How many beds are available? Is there a ventilator in the space just in case it escalates to that point? What's the treatment protocol? Like when you're in that mindset, when you're in a space of, okay, this is going to be about action. This is going to be about solving the problem. And it's going to come from a place of being calm and being collected, because the second you let your mind run away with you, you're in problem. So if let's say that I woke up tomorrow and I was feeling sick. So first of all, I'm going to make sure that I understand what the actual symptoms of the coronavirus are. So if you don't have a fever, then there's something like 86% of all people that have coronavirus have a fever. So if you don't have a fever, the odds of it being a cold are very, very high. They're not 100%, but they're very, very high. Also, the vast majority of people, it's going to be like a rough flu. So recognizing that you may not need to go to the hospital. In fact, until your symptoms escalate, you don't need to go to the hospital. This is about symptom management. So if your fever is manageable, I'll say anything, I am not an expert, but I certainly wouldn't be too nervous. If I was, let's call it 100 and below for sure, 101 and below, I probably wouldn't start being too concerned. If I went above 101, I would definitely seek medical attention. I'm not a fucking expert, so don't want anybody to construe that as anything other than the way that my mind works on this stuff, about staying in, just focused on the facts and dealing with things step by step. That really is the key. So having anxiety over potentially being sick is definitely not going to help you, but clicking into problem solving mode, figuring out what your symptoms are, matching them against the coronavirus symptoms, knowing where the nearest hospital is in case it escalates to that, figuring out what are things that you can do to treat the symptoms at home to keep the fever manageable. Obviously the state of your respiratory system is going to be huge, but like checking in with that and making sure that you're not getting into a danger zone is it. And remember, even at a catastrophic 1.5% fatality rate, that's 98.5% of people are going to have a rough time of it, but they're going to make it out the other side. So just keeping that in mind as well. Tom, will we be able to watch this still later today? Yes, you will. I will save it up so that everybody can check it out. How do you start your day? So I start my day basically the same way every day, Monday through Friday anyway. So I wake up and the first thing I do is either meditate or work out. Today it was workout. So I hit the gym immediately. And then once I worked out, then I typically will meditate or vice versa, depending on which way I did it that day. Then after that, I'm going to, depending on what time I woke up, I'll either go right into working, or if it's still really early, I do that. And if it's not really early, then I will jump right into my cold shower, which I always fucking hate, but always do, because it is super powerful. I have to battle my mind on it every single day. But in the end, I do it. So there's that. And then certainly after my cold shower, I'm just in straight work mode. So then I get ready and it's off to the races. Now, sometimes I'm done with all of that by 4:30 a.m. Sometimes it's not until 7:30. So, but it's usually somewhere around in there. And it's all because I don't set an alarm, is why it varies so much. Just has to do, I go to bed at the same time, but sometimes I sleep more than others. Actually, somebody's asking, how long do I sleep? So typically I'll get about 6 hours. That's sort of my ballpark average. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 7, but it probably averages out to about 6, maybe a little less. Yeah. Hello from Europe. What is up, Europe? Tom, why you say fats will help us? So fat makes up a massive amount of the cellular structure in your body. And so when you're eating fats, healthy fats, that's a key part, then the chances of you lowering your inflammation go way up. Your cell structures have a nice squishy membrane around them. That was transformative for me. So the thing that I'm psychotic about with fats is by keeping high quality fats in my diet, my inflammation plummeted. I had inflammation, horrific inflammation for about 15 years. I was having to ice my wrists every night. When you can write in your skin and it welts up. I don't remember it now, but I don't get that anymore. I don't need to ice my wrists anymore. My knees don't hurt anymore. It was one of the most drug-like effects I've ever had just from eating food. It was really pretty extraordinary. So yeah, that is why. How can one compete with tech giants who are entering into every business possible? The way that you enter into any market, regardless of the size of the incumbent, is by identifying a hole where people are being underserved. So you have to find that. You have to find somewhere where people are being underserved and deliver value to them, and deliver a value that other people either aren't delivering, even though they could, or can't deliver, and you have some special thing. Now, with anything, size is incredibly powerful in some ways, and it holds you back in others. So when you're big, you're slow moving, you're less likely to take a chance on a new segment of the business. When you're small, you can't compete with usually price. You often can't compete on scale, but what you can compete on is being fast. You can pick up small niches that other people aren't addressing and turn that small niche into a position of power for you. And then once you're there, you go from that strength to your next strength, and you just continually scale up. There's always a way to compete with people. You just have to look for the opportunities that they're leaving on the table, which aren't always self-evident, and that's why most people fail, but you got to do it. Bounce Back Bodywork says, at Lisa Bilyeu, showing her man the love. Well, very kind. Thank you so much for being here. At first, at a skim, I thought you said to shower her with love, and I was like, I'm on that shit. You can count on that. Anything you recommend to keep your mind strong to fight coronavirus? So this is a time where I will say mind isn't really going to be the thing that's going to help you fight coronavirus. Obviously, do everything you can to keep your immune system up. Not stressing out is certainly something that will help you keep your immune system elevated. So I would focus on that and literally speak of the devil, and the devil appears.
Hello.
So literally somebody was
where you were.
They were just giving you love in the feed.
I was in the feed as well.
Oh, were you? Oh, that's so funny. You don't recognize that?
That's why I came up here.
You're too funny.
I was like, where's that background?
So, yeah, it had warmth and it had good light. So here we find ourselves. I tried other places, but this is the one. So,
did you say that it was my idea for you to go live?
The words were about to come out of my mouth. So Lisa harangued me.
Harangued, guys.
To come on and do a coronavirus pulse check just to see how everybody's doing. I tend to be heads down doing the work.
Heart if you think you should do more live, guys. Look, lots of hearts.
It's very kind. So, yes, I did it, as I so very often take your advice. And here we are.
All right, sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to come say hi.
Yes, indeed.
Well done for doing it.
I'm glad you came.
Hi, bye.
Now, did you come because I was talking about you?
No.
That's so funny. I literally was just talking about you. That's too funny. All right, there it is, boys and girls. All right, I'll take a couple more questions. Can I say your name? It's Greek. Let's see. Andreas Balan? I'm guessing I got the Andreas part, but I don't know about the... How would you say that?
Andreas Balan.
All right, there we go. Hopefully I got that close. Miss Mindful Journey says, hi, Lisa.
Hi, Miss Mindful Journey.
Where's the hoodie from? This is actually a Steve Aoki special. So he has a line of clothing called Dim Mak, and it is from that. All right. Where am I? I'm in Los Angeles. How do you implement the concept of taking souls that David Goggins talked about when it comes to studying in college? So this one I can speak to intimately. So I was hell-bent to graduate first in my class. I graduated fucking second, which I'm still traumatized about. But mad love to the person that beat me. He's a super good dude. But I went ham, motherfuckers. I went ham in school. I did not date. I did not drink. I did not party. I did not do drugs. I did not do anything but fucking work. I put my head down. I studied and studied and studied. And by the way, I worked 2 part-time jobs just to make it all happen. But oh fuck, I went really, really hard. And I did. I wanted to win. I wanted to beat people. I wanted to outperform. And it was, for me, it was about just putting in more work. I really wish that I were smarter. That would be so fucking cool. But the reality is, everything that I've gotten in my life, I have gotten by just working my fucking face right down to the bone. And that's just the way it's got to be. That's just the way it's got to be, man. If you're going to win, you got to outperform. So yeah, wrapping your mind around that notion that David Goggins has about taking people's souls, winning, beating them, just going harder. But you got to want them to perform at their best. Like wanting to trip people up or fucking break their kneecaps is just stupid. But that's how I did it. All right, does Lisa have a British accent? Yes, she does. She is straight from England. But don't call her English. She is British. She's a British subject, but she is not English. She is of Greek heritage. This is from Danny Benedetto. For make you stronger, you need to do fasting. I truly believe the fasting can make your immune system stronger. Peter Attia just put out a video on fasting and COVID-19 today. I highly recommend you guys check that out. And basically he said, don't do prolonged fasting. While it makes your immune system stronger in the long term, it will cause a depressed immune system in the short term, which means that you can pick up the virus. So he actually doesn't advise it. And as he is a far bigger expert on the topic than I will ever be, I'm going to take his advice on that. All right, last question, then I got to bounce. Tom, did you always think you'd be able to prove Lisa's father wrong? I had real moments of despair where I was afraid I wouldn't. But let me tell you that shit kicked me in the ass. So I used to tell people, man, on my darkest nights, the moments where I had nothing left in the tank, I was fucking exhausted. That's what I would think about is, dude, you cannot let Andreas be right about you. You just can't do it. And he's always been kind to me. He's such a beautiful guy. He is so kind and so generous. But I just couldn't fucking let him be right. I could not let that doubt, I couldn't let it come true. Like I just fucking couldn't do it. And so that was really powerful for me. It's why I tell people you got to learn you've got to learn to leverage the negative as fast as you can leverage the positive. You just can't spend too much time there. Somebody had a question about losing their job. I missed that. If you lost your job, man, don't panic. So that's going to be step number 1. Get out there, work on doing the reps, doing the interviews, get your shit as sharp as possible. Start focusing on your skill set if you have to. Get better, get better, get better. That is always the way. And stay on it. And if you have to, cut your expenses to the quick. cut your expenses to the quick. That's where I find a lot of people struggle. I know it's way too late for this, but to everybody else, always have 6 months money on hand, man. It just goes a long way. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. That shit is fucking stressful. You do not want to find yourself in that situation. God, I remember that so well. So yeah, there it is. All right, guys. So many more questions. Thank you guys all. I will try to do more of these just to check in during this crazy period and then see how you guys are doing. So until then, my friends, be legendary. I'll see you soon. Peace out.